Hello and welcome back to Jody Journals. Today we are going to be setting up my bullet journal for the month of August, and I am taking a quick stroll down my street and collecting as many different types of leaves as I can find. After I've collected as many leaves as I can find, we're going to head back to my art desk and we're going to experiment with some leaf prints. So as we walk down the street, I will show you what I collect and also some interesting things that I have found, like this blackberry. It was delicious. I got quite distracted halfway through my walk and had to harvest a bunch of blackberries, but then I got right back to it. I also show just some of the nature that surrounds me and how the land is recovering after the 2020 CZU fires. My husband and I were evacuated. Luckily, our house survived, but people on our street were not so lucky. It was very interesting for me to walk down the street and just see the changes season after season and see how everything is bouncing back. It will never be the same, but it is bouncing back slowly but surely year after year. It's been really challenging for our neighbors to rebuild up in the Santa Cruz Mountains after the fires. There is a lot of political red tape, and a lot of people found that they were grossly underinsured. So while they are able to rebuild their homes after years and years of fighting for the permits to do so, they are finding that they don't have enough money to finish their homes. And on top of that, skilled trade is something that is lessening as time goes by, and contractors and any sort of person that does work are completely overbooked right now. They are months and months and months out. The demand for rebuilding versus the amount of people who are able to rebuild these homes with the skill set and the permits to do so are vastly different. So I just wanted to mention that while I am in a very fortunate position that I still own my home, and for the most part things are going quite well for my family, there are hundreds of people that lost everything and don't have the ability to regain what they lost, and it's tragic. Now that we're back at the art desk, I'm laying out the leaves to see all of the diversity that I collected. I have everything from maple to holly to clover. I even picked a little bit off of one of my carrots. And I have some leaves that I have no idea what they are, but they looked interestingly shaped, so I snagged them. I'm using a wide flat brush to paint the gouache paint over them. I chose gouache because it's kind of thick, and I didn't really want to deal with acrylic because the cleanup is a little trickier than gouache. Gouache you can just wipe up with water because it is a water-based paint. And so is acrylic, but once it dries on certain surfaces, you can't get it off. And as you will see as this process goes on, it is a very messy process. So I just mix different shades of green, and then I try a few different techniques. I brush it on, and then later I sort of dab the paint on, And then for a couple of the smaller leaves, I just smear it directly in the paint. And I press it down with my fingers. And it takes longer than I'd like to admit, but I realized that the best technique in the end is actually pressing the leaf with my microfiber towel so that the pressure is more even. You get a more even leaf print. Out of all the leaf shapes and prints that I make in the page, I think my favorite is either the fern, which I am painting right now, or the maple leaf, which has very pronounced veins on the back of it, so it gives that classic leaf print look. I love the fern shape just because ferns are some of my favorite native plants that surround me, and I have a deep appreciation for how hardy they are and how beautiful they are. I absolutely love seeing them growing out of the cracks and rocks and crevices of my environment. There are many ways to do leaf prints, and you can use many different mediums for this. Like I said, I chose gouache just because of the easy cleanup, and it's a bit of a thicker paint. But you can use stamp pads, alcohol inks, acrylic paint. You can even use like water-based marker. I've done it with children when I was teaching, where you take Crayola markers and you color the leaves. You have to have kind of a hardier leaf for this, but you do color them and then you can press them. I've also done the reverse, where you put the leaf down and a piece of paper on top, and you rub it with something like charcoal or pastel or the side of a crayon, or if you're very careful, you can even use like a graphite pencil, and then the shape of the leaf will appear above it. So nature-based art can be approached from pretty much any angle. And I've done leaf prints, like I said, a variety of ways throughout my life. One of the benefits of teaching preschool is you get to be very explorative with art. And I try and take that to heart in my own art journey, that sometimes simplicity is really the way to go, and you can create something very, very beautiful. It doesn't have to be high tech. It doesn't have to be technical. It can just be smushing paint around on a leaf and sticking it on a piece of paper, and you end up with something so beautiful. So I would encourage you to do a lot of playing in your art and just enjoying the process of it. I didn't know what this was going to look like when I started out, and by the end result, I am so, so pleased. So it's actually, I say this every time, but I think it's one of my favorite spreads I've made this year. I am now using my trusty Tombow dual brush in the darkest black color to outline the monthly calendar, and then I will use the brush side of the marker to write the word August. Next, I take out my metallic watercolors and I choose my deep red metallic. This is a complimentary color scheme. If you watched my Color 101, I'm going to try and explain my thought process with colors as we go along, if you are interested in color theory at all. But I use the dark red, almost copperish color to create a shadow on the word August, as well as highlight the top of each daily box in my calendar. The contrast between that rusty red metallic and the flat greens makes everything pop and allows me to see more clearly the functional part of this spread, not just the artistic part. On camera, the contrast doesn't show up as much as it does with the naked eye. Metallics don't tend to catch the light through the lens of my phone the same way it does with the naked eye. But I really love the pop of color that it adds. And then I also go in and I do some splatters on top of the leaves just to add that same color story of the red across the entire spread. So again, these are complementary colors and they are opposites on the color wheel. Here's a quick look at what it looks like after the metallic is added. I didn't film it, but I did go back in with one of my jelly roll pens and wrote the date over each of those red lines in the monthly. And the next clip will be of how dirty my hands got in this process, which is why I chose gouache, because all it took was a wet washcloth and all the paint came right off. And then I show you a clip of what my weekly spreads look like. I just chose that metallic red color, and have each day of the week down the left-hand side a mini calendar to tell me which week it is, and of course a section for notes or grocery lists or whatever it is I need. I kept it really simple and open-ended this month because I don't know what my month is going to end up looking like. I really appreciate you being here and watching. I hope you have a great day, night, afternoon, wherever you are. And if you would like to start a conversation down in the comments, go for it. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye.